Whew, it looks so barren here now. So barren. There was a lot of the ivy, which I can't stand because it's so invasive and it'll kill your trees and overtake any little planting areas you have. I mean, it's just a constant fight. There were a lot of other plants which I wasn't doing anything with anyway, so it's okay. But this is the only spot we had to fall the tree, and when the tractor came in, it pretty much wiped out any of the native, I say native, they were very prolific weeds and stuff. There's a few, yeah, I find a few remnants here and there, but it's, yeah, it's pretty desolate looking now. Scripture comes to mind where Jesus told Israel, I leave unto you your house desolate. Whew, that's kind of scary. I don't want that ever to happen to me. I don't want my heart, my thoughts, my feelings, I don't want anything to be desolate. I want it to be full and vibrant, full of life like this stream, running over the rocks, tumbling down into the little pool. That's the way I want my heart and my mind and my life to be full. But it takes a little work sometimes, you know, like a gardener taking care of their garden, pulling the weeds out and trimming things and feeding it, and that takes work with your life as well. Sometimes outside influences can come in and wipe everything out and you feel desolate for a minute, but then you just have to get back up and count your blessings, though they may seem to you at the time to be hard to find, and keep going. Anyway, I am trying to figure out, this is some more area maybe I can do something with. It's pretty hot now with the tree down. There's not a lot of shade. I'm afraid of those ivy coming back too. I still see little bits of it here and there, and it's like impossible to get rid of once it's established well, and it's been here for many years. But I'll stick some pots in here or something eventually. I'm not really sure how I want to do it right now, but I'm slowly getting there. As you can see, I've got an empty half-gallon wine barrel there. I think I'm going to, if I can get enough dirt in it, I think I'm going to try to plant some okra in it. I got some okra seeds I soaked, and I've got them in little pots for them to come up. We'll see how they do in a wine barrel. See that nasturtium plant right there? Okay. I picked all the big leaves and left the little ones. Some of these aren't little, tiny, but I picked all the great big ones that were pristine looking and great big. And I let them sit on the table and kind of wilt back a little bit for about a day. Probably about 24 or 30 hours. And they just laid on the table and wilted back. Okay, and then I tore them all into little pieces, put them in this jar and covered it with 80 proof vodka, because that's a good extracting agent. And now I leave it on my table and I'll shake it real good every time I walk by the table and I think about it for about 2 weeks. And then it should be saturated enough that all the plant material won't be floating up above. So you don't want the plant material up above in the oxygen for very long, because it might mold or something, especially when it's a green plant material, hasn't really been dried. I did let it wilt back to get some of the major moisture out of it. There's still a lot of moisture. It's a green plant. And either way, green or dried, you don't want it in the oxygen where it might mold. So you keep shaking it for a couple weeks, and then after that you can put it back somewhere and let it sit 6 to 8 weeks or longer if you want. Sometimes I just let them sit with the plant material in it until I get around to it, and it may be 3 or 4 months later. But anyway, this is a really good, it's kind of like an antibiotic. But I'll let you do your own research on that. I'm not a doctor, don't claim to be. Just been studying and using this stuff for a few years, and just thought I'd share with you what I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. God bless, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe if you haven't. It's free. Totally up to you. Maybe something that I bring forward in my videos would be a blessing, or something that will help somebody. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.